Welcome to What's the Scenario with PLRB, where we explore claims and coverage scenarios relevant to insurance professionals. I'm Alissha Watley.
I'm Tim Havlir.
And I'm Mike Brode.
So Tim, what's the scenario?
The insured, a family of 4, went camping in the woods. After they set up the tent, a grizzly bear appeared looking for food. The family instantly ran away, and the bear then destroyed the tent, destroyed the generator, destroyed the grill, destroyed the cooler, and then ate the steaks, which had been in the cooler. The family eventually came back to the campsite, drove home, called their homeowner's insurer, and made a claim under named peril coverage C for all of those items of personal property. The adjuster is wondering about the named peril for vandalism or malicious mischief, or the named peril for theft.
Well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. This isn't our normal PLRB podcast. What's going on here?
Well, what do you mean this is our normal podcast? Do you think we're doing something different?
What? What's the scenario? We're talking about coverage. I'm here. I've never been here before. What's going on here?
Well, Tim, would you like to explain what's going on?
I will, but let's start by introducing ourselves.
I am Alissha Watley. I am the Senior Meetings Manager here at PLRB, and you may know my voice from our podcast. So, hi, everyone. And Tim, introduce yourself.
My name is Tim Havlir. I am a property coverage attorney here at PLRB. I have been answering member coverage questions for many, many years now and doing legal research on the first party property side. And Mike?
Ooh. Hey, I'm Mike Brode, Vice President of Educational and Technical Services. And you might not have seen me on the podcast till now, but I'm always your friendly host, me and Alissha, on our webinars. And you might have seen us and even Tim sometimes at a live meeting. So excited to be here on this here new podcast, which I think is a new podcast, right?
Well, the format is new, but it's still PLRB. We are now, What's the Scenario with PLRB? The podcast will now be about 20 minutes long. And the goal of the podcast is to give insurance industry professionals a quick hit training on coverage issues by answering interesting scenarios that come up in their daily work.
So what kind of topics are we going to be covering in this podcast?
That's what I was going to ask, Tim. What kind of topics are we going to be covering in this podcast?
Well, the world keeps changing, Mike, and policy language keeps changing, but not fast enough. So we're going to be exploring emerging issues that are stretching our traditional coverage frameworks and policy language that we've used for decades. We'll cover topics like Airbnb and home sharing. We'll talk about e-bikes, internet fraud, cryptocurrency, mobile tech, AI, drones, and some more old-fashioned topics too, for good measure.
Did you say internet frogs?
Internet fraud.
Oh, okay.
All those pesky thefts over the internet.
Yes. And so the whole point of this is to give clear explanations of complex coverage problems, to answer burning questions from real adjusters, to analyze the latest trends, all of this in true-to-life scenarios that authentically capture the insurance professional's experience.
Yeah, we're going to have some fun with this, and I suppose we should get back to our bear scenario, but first, one quick comment I wanted to make is that question for Alissha. For those who are already subscribed to the podcast feed on PLRB On Demand, what do they have to do to access the new podcast?
So if you've already been subscribed to the podcast, you don't have to do anything. Just stay subscribed and to the same feed, and the title and icon will change. But if you are a new subscriber, welcome. And you should totally hit the subscribe to get alerts on when we post a new episode.
Mike, from
Yes.
your former adjuster life, this bear claim comes across your desk, and we need coverage for all those items that were destroyed and the stakes which were stolen.
Most importantly, the stakes. Yes.
Most importantly, the New York Strip steaks.
From Omaha Steaks.
Mhm.
So what do we think? Named perils or no?
Well, it's not like at our dwelling. It didn't happen at our house. We're camping, right? So we're off our insured premises. Is a tent. That was my home.
Mhm.
It's nowhere near my residence premises. So I'm thinking, are these personal property things, Tim? Would it be maybe covered under there? And then we got to start looking at what perils might be involved there, right?
Right. Coverage C in the homeowner's policy gives you coverage anywhere in the world, it says.
Excellent.
So it doesn't matter that they're off premises. We have covered property. Now we get to our other question: do we have a covered peril? And this is a named peril policy.
Mhm.
So the adjuster has specifically identified those two that they're looking at:
All right.
vandalism
Mhm.
or theft.
So vandalism, it's a bear. Wouldn't you
In
have to have some
nature.
kind of right? He's just going for a meal. He had no malicious intent. There was no vandalism. He's a bear.
The bear was just
Bears
trying
That's
to
what
do.
bear.
bears do.
Bear was
Yes.
just
Bears
trying to
do
bear.
what bears do.
Right.
I agree. I would say vandalism requires a mental state of intent, and a
Right.
bear has no concept of property rights. It's just acting instinctually, as it does as a bear or any animal. So by definition, cannot vandalize. Okay, second peril. Now we're talking about the stakes. Theft.
Hmm.
I mean, I guess he technically did steal steaks by eating them, but does a bear know about stealing?
Right.
Also correct. Same thing we just said about vandalism. It requires a mental state of intent.
Mhm.
To steal is to intentionally deprive someone of their property. And a bear, acting as a bear, could not possibly have formed that intent. So, unfortunately,
Mhm.
going to say that neither of those two name perils apply in this loss.
They should be happy it was the steaks and not them.
Right. Yeah, good point.
Yes.
Especially with a
And
grizzly
you
bear.
know,
Yeah.
I'd just make a point in case this is any ever relevant for anyone. What you're supposed to do when you see a bear in the woods is not run away, but raise your arms and scream at the bear and try to act intimidating. Now,
Does
whether
that
you have the
work?
courage to do that is a different question, but if you run, he's just going to chase you.
Well,
True.
the good part, if it was us three camping and you two took off running, I'm pretty slow. So you're scot free. I'm getting eaten by the bear, unfortunately.
Yeah, but if we had steaks, you'd go for the steaks first.
I don't
It's
know.
so funny that you think I'd be out camping.
But I had one.
I will glamp, but not camp. There
Okay,
you
that's
go.
a good point. A tent is not glamping, so you're right there. But
There you
Tim, how
go.
about this? Now, I mean, it was an animal, a bear, that damaged my tent and my cooler and stuff like that. So isn't aminal, easy for me to say, animal damage, wouldn't that be covered? for personal
No
property?
named peril in the standard homeowners 3 for animals. That appears in the exclusion section here and there. You'll get exclusions for insects,
and
or
insects and that
yeah,
stuff.
vermin, animals owned or kept by an insured, but nowhere in the name perils do you see that.
Very good. Well, bear is definitely going to come after you if you call them vermin. You don't
That's
want to do
beneath
that.
them.
Right. So I think are we running out of luck? No coverage at all, Tim, for anything, you think?
Doesn't look like we can get coverage for any of this.
Hmm.
We're
That's too
at the end of
bad.
the line.
So that's our takeaway. No coverage. And don't go camping.
It's dangerous.
In more ways than one.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, this was a fun episode of What's the Scenario with PLRB. We do hope you enjoy the new format. And thanks, everyone, for listening to today's scenario. If you are a PLRB member and want to know more, head over to plrb.org and sign in with your company email. You may be a member of PLRB if you're a part of a member company and don't even realize it, so be sure to check it out. And to learn more about this particular issue, Tim, where can they find that?
This is on plrb.org under our legal materials. We have annotations on both theft and vandalism. We also have several coverage questions where similar scenarios happen to this. So we go into discussions about animals and their lack of intent, and analogies can be made to this claim. And if an adjuster ever has a claim where the facts and the policy language are similar, PLRB's resources are great to look over to reason through your problems.
Or you can always reach out to some awesome expert like Tim and ask a coverage question too.
Or reach out to me directly and I'd be happy to talk it over with you.
You're going to be so popular, Tim.
Well, it's not just me.
And the links that Tim was talking about, those can be found in the show notes. So be sure to subscribe to us. Be sure to follow us on LinkedIn for educational clips. Check out the video version of this podcast on YouTube. And don't forget to give us a rating. Thank you, Tim. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Alissha.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you for the first episode coming up.
All right.
Yay. I'm excited.
The views and opinions expressed in this resource are those of the individual speaker and not necessarily those of the Property and Liability Resource Bureau, its membership, or any organization with which the presenter is employed or affiliated. The information, ideas, and opinions are presented as information only and not as legal advice or offers of representation. Individual policy language and state laws vary, and listeners should rely on guidance from their companies and counsel as appropriate. Listeners should rely on the National Park Service for advice on bear attacks.